What Lonzo Thinks is a wide-ranging, free-flowing discussion where I talk about everything from movies, television, sports, religion, pop culture, you name it. If it's happening, I'm talking about it. And I've got a special guest with me today. I have actress, singer, Latonya Holmes from the left coast. How you doing today, Latonya?
I'm okay, Alonzo. Fighting the flu bug, but I'm alive, so I won't complain.
Oh wow! So I know the flu bug's been going around for a while. I think it's hit like 21 states. So I guess it got your state too, huh?
Actually, I caught it there in Georgia. I was just there at home with my family. My brother was sick on Christmas. My mom and I woke up 2 days ago, well, 3 days ago now with this sore throat. So I didn't catch it here in Cali. I caught it in Georgia.
Oh wow!
And I had to fly back with it to the other night. So it is definitely going around, though. I've been seeing a lot of stuff about it on the news.
Oh wow! So now the whole plane's got it.
Yep, my whole family. Well, my dad hadn't gotten it before I left it.
Now I
My
said,
brother had it on Christmas, and it kind of spread it. Yeah.
the plane you flew back on, they got it now.
Oh, the plane. I didn't hear you. I hope not. I had a mask on. I hope they didn't.
Okay, good for you. Good for you. Well, I hope you get better real soon.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank
you're welcome.
you.
You're welcome. So, thanks for joining me on the show today. And basically, what I wanted to talk about with you is you've been in the business for a long time. So, first of all, just kind of tell us how long you've been in the business and what your background is.
Okay, now you're trying to find out my age, and I know you know my age because we went to school together, so I'm not going to point out any years. But I have been professionally. I started singing when I was 7 years old in Warner Robins, Georgia, Springfield Baptist Choir. Professionally, I have been doing this since I left and went to college at 17. I did my first non-equity Broadway tour of Big River the summer of me being 17 years old. I was the youngest on the tour, but my training is from Northside High School under the great late Joan Ray Horn. So I'm a Northside High School theater alumni, and I have a Bachelor of Arts degree in theater from Roosevelt University in Chicago, where I went to school on a full scholarship, part academic and part theater. So again, I've been doing this professionally since I was 17, and I'm 21. To be over 30 years. I've been doing this professionally, and I'm blessed. I'm grateful. It has its highs, it has its lows, its peaks and its valleys, as I'm sure you know. And I'm just grateful to still be in the number, like I like to say that, because the industry has changed so much. When I first started, you know, it was all about your training, especially when it came to Broadway and theater. And now with all the reality TV shows, The Voice and the American Idols, the quality of talent that the Broadway producers go for is no longer based on your training and your discipline and your resume. It's based on she was the winner of The Voice. He was the winner of The Voice, American Idol, or how many social media followers you have. So the game has changed tremendously in our industry, and not just for theater. It's really in terms of the entire entertainment industry. Sometimes I get messages from my agents here, commercial agents, saying, you know, we need your Facebook page followers. How many fans do you have? Not on your personal page, because their belief is that anybody can say yes to a friend on your personal page, but in terms of your fan page, where I've had friends who couldn't get seen because they didn't have 5,000 fans on their music page or their public figure page. So we are in a time now where it's not really based about your training and your talent. It's where does she or he place an American Idol or The Voice, or how many followers do they have on social media?
Wow.
So I'm thankful that I'm still in the number.
Oh, that is definitely amazing. So suffice it to say, is that the most significant change that you've noticed during your career? Is more about social media and less about your resume and talent?
part of your question. You said, is that the biggest thing I've noticed that's changed?
Right.
Yeah. I don't know necessarily if it's the biggest thing I've noticed, but I think it's the biggest issue that I'm having to deal with, especially because I do come from the theater, and because I'm not just trained in theater, I'm finding that it's happening in all facets of the entertainment industry: voiceovers, TV, film. I have a friend who's a huge film director. I won't call his name, but he had a film that came out last year, and Fox actually had an entire day of building his Twitter numbers because he's old school and he doesn't believe in that part of it. He's like, my work should speak for itself, and as a result, a star and a co-star got billing over him because of them having millions of Twitter followers and him having maybe a few thousand. So they designated an entire day for family, friends, and the network to all just say, follow this director, blah, 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 blah. So to me and to him, that's a little crazy. But, if you want to stay in the game, and as long as, my belief is as long as I'm not doing anything that's, unethical and embarrassing to myself and my family, then you have to go with the flow, because these are the big wigs that are making these decisions, and these are the people who have the decision to hire you or not. So you either get up and work your social media like another job. It really is another job, especially when you're doing it honestly and when you're not paying for followers and you're trying to, still put out content that's decent and not tell lies and pretend that this and that and it's all that. So it's a big issue, but it's one that we have to jump on board with, or we get left behind. That's just where it is right now.
Wow, I certainly understand that. So as you said, you've been doing this for a while now. Think back to when you first started out. Tell us about that first time you had to maybe audition or try to get work. How did you feel, and how did you handle it? And I guess, and this is good advice for people out there that's listening, is getting started in the game, is how you dealt with starting out your career and what you had to do to find that success.
Well, for me, I'm a lucky one because I came up under the training of, again, Mr. Gerald Ray Horn at Northside High School in high school, and so he made sure we were prepared. Even if you weren't sure that this was what you were going to do professionally, as you know, we won almost every one-act competition there was. And we won state all 3 years I was there. So I was fortunate enough to go to Muncie, Indiana, and perform in the International Theater Festival, which is where I got my full scholarship to Roosevelt. I was seen there my sophomore year and got a scholarship offer my junior year to many colleges, but I chose Roosevelt because the theater dean there was the one who kept up with me, what was happening with me my senior year. So in terms of preparing and the first audition, I'm going to jump to the first professional audition because I won't talk about the high school auditions for Mr. Horn. But I had to bring that up because it was definitely, I had to give credit to him for making sure that we knew what we were getting into if we did choose theater as our major or to go on and accept these theater scholarships, that it wasn't a game, it wasn't just glitz and glamour. So my first audition was actually I snuck to an audition for Dreamgirls. I was a freshman, and as freshmen, we were not supposed to audition outside of the theater department because our dean, her belief was that we were not ready to step out there into that cold world. But Dreamgirls was my favorite musical and still is today. And I knew some of the people in the cast, and they were looking for an Effie, the Jennifer Holliday role. Mind you, I was all of probably 4 feet tall and probably weighed 80 pounds. But I snuck and went to that audition, and I sang And I'm Telling You. And you have to know that I've always been fearless. And so, growing up singing in the church, though I do not consider myself a gospel singer, when you sing from your soul and when you sing it from a place of that real place and feeling, then for me, just going in there singing, and I'm telling you, which I had been singing since high school in the pageants and all of that, it was just like walking around my house singing. So I was a new kid in Chicago from Warner Robins, Georgia, that came up in there, like I said, a freshman in college, and they were all like, "Who are you? How did you get here? You're too young for this role, but you just hit every note." So to make a long story short, that was my first audition experience in this big city where I knew very few people, but I knew the right people, and they took me. And they knew I was sneaking, but what it did, it taught me a major lesson. The Candlelight Playhouse was the theater. They actually called my dean and told her that I came to that audition and that clearly I was too young and too small to play the role of Effie White, but they were so blown away by me, they wanted to offer me a job as a pit singer and sing in the pit for the shows because it's such a heavy vocal show. And Yolanda called me to her office and she let me have it. She was like, what you did was not right. You broke the rule, and I've already turned down the job. I don't care that it's a contract. I don't care that you can work towards your equity card. You were not supposed to go outside of this department and audition yet. So what makes you think that what you did was okay and acceptable, where I'm supposed to allow you this chance to go work in a professional theater, but now that would mean I have to let others do it, and that's not the rule. So I learned a major lesson, like, no matter how great or good you think you are or how fearless you think you are, Latonya, the rule is the rule, and the rules are the rules, and you must follow them until she feels you are ready. So she turned down that job on my behalf. I had to go back to the theater with her and apologize for sneaking out and coming to that audition. Now, years later, they offered me roles. I never got a chance to work there. We just never could get the negotiations together with that theater. But if you're just starting out and you were going to a college on a full scholarship and you're told by your dean that you are not allowed to audition outside of that department your freshman year, then do not do it. No matter how fabulous you think you are, no matter how ready you think you are. And the truth of the matter was, I was not ready because I didn't have a car. I went to school downtown Chicago. The Candlelight Theater is on the other side of Chicago. So, my friends who took me there, they lived on the south side. So how was I going to get there? See, I didn't think all those things through. I just thought, I can sing these songs. I'm going to go. And I did get the job, but more came to it. There was more with that. It wasn't just getting the job. It's rehearsals are during the day. You have class. They rehearse 10 to 6 on equity contracts and equity houses. So even with the non-equity people, you could still come in from 6 to 10, but I had a dance class at 6:30. So I couldn't do that show. I wasn't ready. It wasn't about my talent. There were other facets that did not meet up with my schedule as a freshman in college. So it taught me to be disciplined. It taught me to not sneak, have a conversation and let her, she might have tried to work something out if I had just gone to her. So that was my very first audition experience in Chicago in theater, and I learned a major lesson, and to this day, that's one of the rules I don't break. If somebody says don't do this because of this, I don't do it. No, even if I think I'm perfect for the role.
So that's very interesting. So tell me this, how did that impact your relationship with your dean moving forward?
It actually made us closer. You know what? She passed away the year before Mr. Hoy, actually. It made us closer. Her kids, they adopted me like their own little sister. I was mad at her for a very long time, but I was wrong, so I had to get over it. And I had to get back to why I was there, and I was there to learn, and I was there to get ready to work at the Candlelight in the Marriott. So it made me have a lot of respect for her, and to realize that I couldn't play with this lady. And although I thought I was a spitfire, she was the fire. So yeah, so it made us even closer. We were close because again, I went to school. I only knew Jenna Ford who's also from Warner Robins. Jenna went on the scholarship the year before me, so the two of us were her babies from Warner Robins, Georgia. And outside of that, I didn't have any family that I knew at the time in Chicago. I really only knew Jenna and the people that I had met, the few months that I had been there in school, that, who took me to the audition, etc. So she was like my mother away from home.
Wow, so that's amazing. So you learned a very valuable lesson early on. So
absolutely.
So let me ask you this: how important would you say it is to receive the training that you receive versus I think some people who try to get into it with no training? And how does it make someone as obviously well trained as yourself see people thinking that they can just do it because they just think they have the talent?
You know what? I don't judge anybody. I don't judge anybody for their belief in themselves. I don't judge anybody for their God-given gifts. I just say to people, sometimes all people, these kids today, they see the glitz and glamour of show business. And I always say, take your time to learn the business because the business comes before the show. And what I mean by that is show business is a cold world. It's a cold business. And if you ain't on top of your business game first, it doesn't matter how fierce your show is, how fierce your showmanship is. You could be the baddest singer, actress, dancer, voiceover actor, whatever. But if you sign a bogus contract because you were so hungry and thirsty that you didn't take the time, or your family, like me being from a small town, being from Warner Robins, Georgia back then when our population wasn't what it is today, I thank God that my parents were very careful with who they let me deal with there. And they would admit that they didn't know, so no, you can't do that because we don't know enough about it, because you end up signing these bad contracts, and then when your big break really comes, and it's your time to shine, and people are saying, hey, we want her, and then you say, oh, well, I signed this contract with so-and-so back in Atlanta, Georgia, and they read that contract, and you have signed your life away for the next 4 or 5 years, ain't nobody gonna touch you. Because people are not going to work for you for somebody else to get the credit. So you have to make sure that you do your homework. There are books. Now we got the computer. There is nothing you cannot Google. If you don't know something, Google it. You will eventually get to the source. It may take you some time, but you gotta be patient. I have a mentor out here who tells me when I get frustrated about my music stuff, he'll say, Latonya, you don't put out garbage. So in the music business, fast is ugly, slow is beautiful. You put out your best work when you take your time. You put out garbage when you rush and try to keep up with the Joneses. So just because Beyonce is dropping a record every year, you don't have Beyonce's budget. You don't have Sony behind you. You're an indie artist. So people will wait for you because they know you're going to give quality music. It's not quantity, it's quality. So my advice to those of you who think that, you may be blessed with the most amazing talents in the world. But if you don't take the time to learn the business of the entertainment business, you can mess up your career for life. You can mess up your life for life. Because signing contracts without an attorney or someone who understands that contract that you don't, and most of us don't understand those contracts. There's always a word or two in there that means something totally different from what we interpret it to mean in the show business, in this business. So that's my big piece of advice to the young people coming up today, and not to to newcomers in the industry, because I believe that you're never too old to pursue your dreams. And if your dream is the entertainment business, do your homework. Don't just get caught up because you're a pretty face, you got a nice body, fellas, ladies. You can sing, you can dance, you can act. Your mother, your father is so and so and so and so. None of that matters. When those people that are able to make something happen for you, when you show up with your fabulous gifts, and then you say, hey, well, I signed this contract with this guy over here because he said he was going to put me in such and such and such. Then they go, well, we can't use you for this project. And by the time your contract is over, the next bright shining star has come along, and you are forgotten about. You are only as big as your last credit in this business. You are only as big as you keep yourself present in a presentable way in this business. So just throwing up content on Instagram, just throwing up crazy pictures on Facebook, saying crazy stuff, save your drama for behind the closed doors. I'm not saying, now I keep it 100. I'm not saying if you're having a bad day, it's a horrible thing to say, hey, you know what, I had a horrible day today. This audition sucked. That's okay. But you have to choose your words, and you can't be blasting folks, because everybody knows everybody in some way. It always comes back around. The circle is really small, people.
Absolutely, I can certainly attest to that. So I definitely feel you on that one.
Yeah.
And I've got to burn bridges to prove it. So.
You got mad with somebody or something?
You don't even want to know.
I do want to know. That's a conversation when we later.
Yeah, I burnt the bridge down, and I tore the house down and the bridge along with it. But.
Oh my God, I want to hear about that.
I had some real short. I had someone once tell me, and this was a few years ago. Told me that you'll never work in this town again. And I said, I've never worked in this town in the first place, so what am I missing? So,
oh my God.
I'm from Warner Robins. I don't play that.
Oh my God, that is hilarious. And sometimes, sometimes you do have to just let people know that you're not a kid and they can't talk to you any kind of way. Now, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I'm the last thing from kissing, but I don't believe in any of that stuff. If my talent and my intelligence and what I bring to the room is not enough for you, then I'm not meant for your project. I'm not jumping through hoops to chase. I'm not that girl. So I'm definitely not telling you to go out there and be a yes, even with something that does not fit with your standards of what you want to do and how you see your career going. And again, all of that comes with doing the homework. You got to know what your brand is, what you want to do, what is your long-term goal. So you have to have all these things figured out. It's very few people just look up because, they're just so talented. You might not have heard of us. Look at Tiffany Haddish. She's been in the game a long time, but she's just now getting her break. But Tiffany is not new to the game. Tiffany's been around a long time. She's paid her dues. So just because you may not have heard of a person, don't think that just because you just seen them on the scene that they just jumped on the scene and became a star overnight. Most of them did not. They paid their dues somewhere.
Oh, absolutely. And as you well know, I have a daughter, and she wants to, obviously, like most young girls who think they have talent, well, she does have talent. She wants to be in the entertainment business and everything. So, and those are the things that I try to press upon her, and not, well, just because you cute and you can sing or you can dance, that people are going to lay down for you, and it's going to be simple. It's a hard business, and you got to learn the hard way, and you have to show me that this is something that you really want. Don't just say it just because you see it on TV. You have to be willing to put in that hard work that goes behind it. So obviously we see this a lot with parents pushing their kids and living vicariously through their kids and pushing them into things that they are not prepared for. So you make an excellent point. And that being said, we know the business is very competitive, like you said. So how do you deal with the the challenge of having to reinvent yourself on a constant basis?
Oh, it's hard. I have my days where I just go under. I do nothing. I step away, and I will disappear. I will tell my manager, not today, because it is an ongoing job. Even when you're not working, you're working, and so you have to find the balance, because you will go crazy if all you do every day is sit up and I gotta get this job, I gotta get this audition. Then you're no good when you do get into the room. So you gotta find balance. You gotta go outside and do other things. Whatever your hobbies are. I have a dog. I have a Yorkie, so I love to go walk my dog. I go riding with him. I like to go to movies when there's something I really want to see. I don't just go to movies just because. I cook. I like to sit outside in the park. So you gotta find the balance and find other things that keep you sane, because show business, especially as competitive as things are today and how the game has changed that we were talking about earlier, you have got to have something else that brings you joy. You cannot just sit up and beat yourself up about the jobs you didn't get. And even, and when you do get the opportunities, when your people call you with those auditions, you have to be prepared. Nowadays, in these TV and film auditions, they pretty much want you to be off book when you come in there for your first audition. That's hilarious to me, but I gotta do it. Hey, you want me to learn 6 or 7 pages of dialogue, but this is my first audition. This isn't a callback. So while I'm learning all of this, and I may not even get called back, really, but that's what's happening now. So again, those are the days where I take a deep breath and I go, is this role really me? Yes. Do I really like this character? Yes. Do I want to show up and really show out and represent myself well for myself, my team, and this casting director, so she or he will keep bringing me in? Yes. Okay. Learn the lines. And there have been auditions that I've gotten where I say to my manager, you know what, this isn't me. You have to be realistic. Because just going in there because it's an audition, because, I really want to be seen, but then you go in there and this role you're not connected to the role. And so it's a waste of everybody's time. And now you have risked the chance of this casting director bringing you back in when you are right for something that he or she's casting. So I have just, Alonzo, I try to balance myself. And I never have a problem with saying no. I do not feel like I have to make every audition. Like right before the holiday break, Monday before last, the industry was pretty much shut down. I knew about 2 auditions. I ended up getting a 3rd audition that conflicted with the other 2, and they were all scattered out over town. I told my agent, tell the cast, and the one that came the day of was, I got that audition at 11:30. They wanted me there at 12:30. I live in the Valley. They wanted me in Hollywood at 12:30. It takes an hour, and I wasn't dressed. I told my agent, tell her if she wants to see me, I will come because it's a really good part, but I am not a machine. I will not be there at 12:30, and they just gave us this appointment at 11:30.
Wow.
And that's not a diva move. That's called let the casting director know what's up. You tell your agent, they tell the casting director, and then the casting director can say, okay, tell her to get here at 1 or 1:30, or get here when she can and safely, or you know what, we're only going till 12:45. I'm sorry, we got you guys in the late call today. We'll call you the next time. But it takes the pressure off of you, because if I had tried to rush and get over there, I would have been a mess. In every aspect of that word. And who's to say I could have gotten into a car wreck trying to rush for the same day audition, But that too is happening a lot. And I used to say, I don't believe these casting directors are just getting these auditions today. They knew about this on Friday, But you can't sit up and beat yourself. The bottom line is, do you want to go? Is it something you can get ready for in this amount of time? is it a commercial? Is it dialogue? Is it film? How much copy is it? Can you go in there and do a good job? If not, it's okay to tell your agent, hey, I really don't think I can learn this much stuff. Do I have to be on book? You can tell her I can come, but I'm going to hold the paper. There's so many ways. It's all about communicating. It's all about communicating with your team, and it's all about not being afraid to tell the truth.
And you would think that in a professional world, they would appreciate you telling the truth versus coming in there and trying to wing it, right?
Absolutely, most of them do. I don't think I've ever had a situation, and it hasn't happened to me a lot, but it's happened to me a lot with one particular casting director. She's always the same day, and it's always a lot of copy. And I just thought it was a Saturday, and I was going to chaperone my godson's birthday party, drop my dog off at doggy daycare, and then here comes this appointment. 10 o'clock in the morning, she wants me in Hollywood at 11:15. It wasn't even about, and it was a lot of dialogue. It wasn't even about trying to even consider it. I saw my manager call her back and tell her, today is Saturday. I am chaperoning my godson's birthday party. I am on my way to chaperone. If she wants to see me, I'm happy to work on this over the weekend and come in on first thing on Monday morning. If not, good luck with casting this project today.
And that went over well, I assume.
And yeah, it did. It went over. It did go over well because I was just like, this is crazy. This is a Saturday.
Right.
They're asking for the impossible right now for me. Even if I hadn't been chaperoning his party, it was a lot of dialogue, and I would have still said, there is no way I can learn this and get over there and give a good audition. No way. So they appreciate your honesty. I've heard very few stories where a casting director did not, but you do have those that are sometimes in that crunch mode and just not having a good day. It hasn't happened to me, but I've had it happen to a couple of friends where the casting director didn't bring them in for a very long time because she was salty that they passed on that particular project, which was a same day, last minute, lots of copy,
Right.
So, yeah, it's there's so many games.
Well, that being said, tell us about. I'm sorry.
I didn't hear you.
That being said, tell us about your most disappointing moment in the business.
Oh my God. That's a good question. I gotta really think on that one.
Want to come back to it?
Huh?
So you want to come back to it?
No, I know what it is. My most disappointing, what I thought was my most disappointing moment. As I've gotten older now, I realized that I wasn't ready. There were two, and they're both related to the music industry. When I was in Chicago in college, I was signed to a girls group on Columbia Records, and we showcased actually with the Fugees. We were the biggest priority there, and we did our album. We were on set to shoot our video, and one of our producers just kind of went off on the VP of marketing because she suggested different wardrobe for us, and the entire video shoot got shut down. Our record got shelved, and we never came out. R. Kelly did our first two singles, and for me, those who know me know that music is my true passion. And so to be that close to, releasing a record, and you are one of the main lead singers, and we were five girls. There was five of us in the group and two main lead singers, and I was one of them. And that record, I still have that record, but it never came out. And it was at the time devastating, because your family, your hometown, everybody knows that, wow, Latonya's on Columbia Records, and any day now we could be hearing her on the radio. It didn't happen. So that happened, and then a few years after that, I go to New York, and Clive Davis' assistant hears me sing something from Dreamgirls at a Dreamgirls benefit, and walks up to me. I don't know who this guy is at the time. Walks up to me and my manager at the time and was like, "You're amazing. Do you have a demo? I'm the assistant to Clive Davis' assistant, and I would love to take you in for our A&R people to hear you." I had just finished recording this song for another label in New York. So my manager at the time gave him that demo, and the next day she got a call from a young lady, one of the big A&R ladies at Arista at the time, saying, "Can you bring Latonya in here Friday? I want Latonya to sing this song that she sang on this demo. If she can sing this song like on this demo live, like she sang it on this demo for me in person, I want to take her straight to Clive Davis." And we went. I sang the song. She was in tears. She called another head honcho over to hear me sing it again. They were like, "We're taking you to Clive." She emailed him right on the spot and was like, "Hey, you got to hear this kid. Blah, 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 blah. She's amazing. I think you should sign her." He emailed back and said, "Is she coming in with the involvement of a hit producer and or a hit song?" She said she didn't think the song I sang was a hit. I did not have any hit producers working with me at the time. He said, "Develop her, put her with our producers, and when you guys feel she has 4 hit songs for me to hear her, I will do a showcase to hear her live." So he wouldn't hear me. He would not hear me until that happened. And for 2 years, I demoed over 27 songs for Arista Records, trying to get what they wanted for him to get me ready to go to him. But then my project got caught up in the middle of the Tony Braxton bankruptcy, the TLC bankruptcy, and I became not a priority anymore because they had to try to save these artists who were platinum selling artists on their label. At that time, his daughter was my attorney. And she basically said, "Latonya, we need to get from under your development deal. Arista is not your home." I don't know how many nights I cried because to be that close to meeting Clive Davis and to be that close to being signed to Arista Records, and because other artists didn't handle their business at the time, but they had made all this money for the label, you become just nobody. So I never met Clive Davis. I did not get signed to Arista. They let me go from under my development deal, but I made some great relationships. So while those 2 moments were devastating for me at that time, they taught me the business of music, and they taught me that it ain't over till it's over, and you can be as good as you want to be, you can be as great as you think you are, but you still have to go through the chain of command. Because to this day, I have never met Clive Davis, and his daughter was my attorney.
Wow.
So those were 2 heartbreaking moments, but the blessing is I know now that that situation on Columbia Records, it wouldn't have lasted because the girls were younger, and we were all close in age, but I was the oldest in the group, so my mindset was different from theirs. And I learned that girl groups are not for me. But the beautiful thing is that we are all still very close today. They're all still in Chicago, and I'm the one that's here. And in terms of the Arista situation, though that didn't work out, I have some great music relationships to this day that stem from all those years ago back in New York at Arista. So, and I can call those people and I can get advice, and I can call some of these people and they'll be like, "Yeah, we got you." So when it didn't happen, but Arista Records is the reason I live in LA. Because when that situation happened, Lauren, Clive's daughter, sent me out here to work with some other producers to try to reinvent myself musically and get my confidence back up and my pep back up because I was very down. And I ended up moving to LA because other people out here started seeing me and I couldn't get back to New York. My friends moved my stuff out of my apartment in New York. They sold most of my furniture and put my clothes on the Amtrak because I was so busy working here that I could not get back to New York. So that is what brought me to LA. I wouldn't have been here had that situation not happened. So on the flip side, there is still a testimony, that came from that situation. Both of those situations, actually.
And you've been in LA ever since? And you've been in LA ever since?
I've been in LA ever since. It'll be 20 years next year. Well, wait, are we in the new year? January 28th, 2018. It'll be 20 years I've been here.
Oh wow! I mean that says a lot in itself. So so
Yeah.
so your time in LA, as far as
Mhm.
obviously maintaining a career, maintaining work, and keeping that balance and everything. I'm sure you see it every
Mhm.
day. I'm sure you see it every day as far as the grind and everything. So
Mhm.
and keeping that balance. So how is it that some people, you know, I guess you see them or you hear about them, then all of a sudden, poof, they're gone. I mean, kind of give
Mhm.
people an idea of how much of a meat grinder that place really is.
Oh, LA is tough. LA is tougher than New York. I just don't want to be in the cold anymore. And but at the end of the day, the LA hustle is much harder only because for these few reasons. For me, let me say this: you got a lot of fake people out here. I don't do fake. You got a lot of butt kisses out here. I don't do butt kisses. So people out here will smile in your face and be like, "Oh, girl, yeah, I'm gonna hook you up with the Loop group. Oh, girl, yeah, I'm gonna introduce you to so and so and get you some session work." And then you call them, and then they don't take your phone call. Or it's this let's do lunch crap, and then you call them, and it's like, "Oh, well, I'm busy, blah, 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 blah." New York, what I can say is that we got our hustle on in New York, but we can scrape up our rent money much faster in New York because you can cater a couple of gigs. I never cater because I'm too clumsy, but I would do little. You could do session work. Your friends were your friends, and people who said they're going to do something for you or help you with something, they didn't say it if they didn't mean it. You got a lot of people out here that will tell you, that will blow smoke up your butt, and then when you reach out to them, now you didn't ask them. Let me let you know that you didn't ask them to help you with nothing. You might have just run into them, and they're like, "Hey, girl, how's it going?" And you can say, and that's why you have to be careful what you tell people out here because people sometimes get a kick out of feeling like, "Oh, she needs me. He needs me. Oh, she's not doing too good. Oh, I thought, versus New York where it's like, "Oh, girl, yeah, come on, girl, come do this session with me. I'll put you on this session, girl. We make a quick $100, 200. You know what I mean?"
Right.
So the LA grind, I tell people, I don't care what anyone says. LA to me is more expensive than living in New York because you don't have to have a car, but you do have to have a car. Taking the bus and all of that, you will be drained. And I have friends who do it. Nowadays, we got Uber and Lyft and all of that. But when I first came here, you didn't have all of that. And we didn't even have the Metro when I first came here. So you got to have a car. You got to have car insurance, if you're going to do it right. And a reliable car because everything is so spread out. In New York, you take the train, you take the bus, and you get off, and you can walk, the blocks to your auditions. So the LA grind is a beast for so many reasons, but for me, I found and I learned quickly, and I honestly hate that question here in LA. What do you do? Because people are so pretentious, and it's all about your resume. It becomes about what you do versus who you are as a person and a human being. So my first 2 years here, having lived in New York before coming here, I love to get cold. So when people would ask me here, "What do you do?" I say, "Oh, I'm unemployed." To see how they treated me. What? Do you want to know me for what I do, or what? What's your motive? And I got rid of a lot of people that way that were not supposed to be in my life because they showed me that they were just really all about what I could do and what they thought I could do for them. And sometimes I would say, "Oh, I work for the city. Oh, I drive the bus." I would say all kind of crazy stuff when I moved out here because I had been warned by some of my old school brothers that are still here today who have been here longer than I have. Yeah. And they taught me how to deal with these people out here.
You know what? That sounds a lot like Atlanta now.
Is Atlanta that now? I heard a little bit, but
yeah.
People trying to get me to move to Atlanta, but I say I'm not moving to Atlanta to start over. Some got to bring me to Atlanta, because starting over just out the blue, don't nobody know who I am in Atlanta. But don't tell me that.
I've like I said, I've got some horror stories I could definitely share. Um, uh,
Uh-huh.
and, and I guess the thing is that if you're not mentally prepared, like you said,
Yeah.
for that portion of it, you can easily get discouraged or get taken advantage of. And
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
me being obviously being a bit older and non pretentious like yourself, I mean
Yeah.
I'm quick to to say things that may not be so colorful or maybe a bit colorful.
Yeah.
So, but the good
Yeah. And uh-huh.
but the upside to that is like you said, it weeds people out with the quickness. It really does. It really does.
It really does. It really does. And you mentioned something about hearing about people one day and then tomorrow you don't know where they are.
Mm-hmm.
It happens for, that reason people get caught up with the wrong crowd. I see people come from the small towns like I did. Like I said, luckily I went from Georgia to Chicago to New York to LA. I didn't come from Georgia straight to LA, But I see people, these kids that come out here and they think that there's either a sense of entitlement where they think they're just, you owe them the world because they showed up. And it's like, who are you? What dues have you paid if you don't get up out of my face, But then I don't have the tolerance for it. I don't. Because I'm like, you what? You just got off the plane. Child by. Go take a class, But, but a lot of times you do get these young kids who get into these big agency parties and schmooze with who they think are the right people, and the agents will put them on, and then they at these parties, and then because they blonde and blue-eyed and cute, they get these series regulars like that, but they don't know how to handle their money. They don't even know how to be away from home yet. So you get all this money thrown at you at one time, and you go and you buy the biggest house in LA, and you go buy the biggest luxury car, and then the next year your show gets canceled. Now what? You gone, or you on the street on a blanket, sleeping on a blanket. And I have seen it happen. I have seen it happen to us, to our people, not managing the money right because you gotta wait for that. That show, it is not guaranteed. You better wait till you in your fifth season, for you. And the money, it's not. They don't pay like they used to pay back in the day. The industry is reversed tremendously. Came out here to LA, Lonzo, one national commercial, you could easily make $100,000. Now you gotta have about 3 or 4 to get close to that. Unless you end up on a major campaign. So the unions have changed in terms of protecting us. The money has changed. Everything is social media heavy, as you know, like you're talking to me on a computer, YouTube, you got YouTube channels. There's so many other ways to make money in this industry that people don't feel like they have to shell out the kind of money they used to because there's so many other ways to stream income, streaming, right. Online streaming, nobody buys music anymore, people streaming. So right. For me, when I put out music, I don't put out music to expect to make any money. I put out music to hopefully touch hearts and change souls and lives because people don't even want to spend 99 cents to buy your single today, $1.29, but they'll go to Starbucks and buy a $5 grande chai latte every day. So you can't get mad at people. You just got to figure out a way to make it work for you or get out the game. That's it.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, and that's the I guess that's the gist of the situation because it's like you said, it's not 1985 anymore. It's 2018 and things are different and the way you market yourself and the ways to make money are once again, like I said, that's why we're talking over a computer now and this is going to be on my YouTube channel and on Facebook and out there on social media by the end of the night. You know what I mean? So it is a different animal and a different beast. And you have to have your head screwed on correctly if you think you're gonna I guess you're gonna last. Or like I said, in my situation is a little bit different because I'm a writer and writers are treated a little bit differently. So because obviously I don't have to, market myself in that way or be in front of a camera. So I guess I can be a little bit more abrasive. But I guess in a situation where you're on camera talent, it is a little bit different. So I definitely get that. And so I hope I'm not, anybody that's out there listening, don't go around cussing people out like I do, okay?
Please don't. You tell your manager, your agent, let them be the bad person.
Exactly. Well, hey, I got a cautionary tale for anybody out there listening right now who might be a young writer or something. Somebody trying to get some writing work. I'm gonna share a cautionary tale. Okay, I got a gig. A few months ago working on an Amazon show, writing obviously a couple episodes, and we had our production meeting and everything, and I was scheduled to write the first 2 episodes. So I didn't really agree with what the producer wanted as far as for the pilot episode or for the season 2 episode. So I go and write whatever I want. Yeah, he told me what he wanted. I said, okay. So I write. At least I stayed in the ballpark. You know what I mean? But I wrote what I wanted, and I turned it in. He was like, nah, bruh. I didn't get episode 2. I did not get episode 2. No, I did not. So, but see, but see the thing, but it's not in my DNA. It's not in my DNA to write something I think is stupid. You know what I mean? If I don't agree, it's hard for me to put those words down if I don't believe in them. So and that's what I did. It obviously cost me the gig, but and so I missed out on that opportunity, that paycheck. So, but hey, I my dignity is intact. So.
I was gonna say, but do you regret it, or do you feel good because it was about your integrity?
Well, no, I don't regret it because actually, I think they are going to use my my work for episode 1. I'm sure they're going to make some serious rewrites on it. But I'm still getting the credit for it. So now I just have to hope that it don't suck, because if it sucks and someone says, well, who wrote that mess, and they see my name, then. I'm just saying that really don't do me a whole lot of good. So. Well, while we're talking, you remember Stepsisters, right? I don't know if you know what happened. I don't know if you know what happened with that. So.
I have no idea what happened with it. I just know I never came to Atlanta to shoot.
Okay, it was all systems go. Everything was in place. We ready to rock and roll. Okay. All right. Then all of a sudden people got greedy, which of course happens. And next thing next thing you know, there's no more deal. So anyways, fast forward about a year or so. Fast forward, and I'm on the internet. I'm surfing, as I do. So and every once in a while I'll Google Stepsisters to kind of see if there's anything out there in the ether, and I see that someone has closed the deal to film Stepsisters in Atlanta. Really?
What?
Yeah, I'm like, wait a minute, that's mine. Yeah, that's mine. So I opened the article. I think the Atlanta Journal did the article. So I pulled the article up and I'm reading. I'm like, and the byline and the description of the film. I'm like, wait a minute, that's mine. And they changed. Obviously, they changed some elements of it, of course. To kind of separate themselves from me. But wait a minute, that's mine. And the people that do it, that are doing it, I know them. So I know where they got it from. Not only did they take the plot, they took the title, which is really bold, because I copyrighted it. Okay, I copyrighted it.
That's a lot to.
Yeah. So, anyways, so they shot the film. The film is shot. I think they may have lost their distribution because it hadn't gotten released yet. Anyway, so I contacted my attorney. I was like, hey man, we gotta do something about this. And you say,
Mm-hmm.
the production company is based out of L.A., so you got to sue. You got to sue them in California. That means you got to go to California. They got money. You don't. They're gonna sweat you out. What you should do is wait till the film is released, and if it's a big hit, then you can go after them. Otherwise,
Mm-hmm.
otherwise, if you push this, then you definitely gonna get blackballed. So
What?
yes, yes, yes. So I mean, and it's true because I didn't have the money to fight it. I don't have the money to be flying back and forth to LA. I don't have the money to hire an LA attorney.
Right.
And I don't have the
Right.
money to send my attorney out there. He ain't going out there for free. You know.
Right. Absolutely not.
So the numbers of the game, preclude me from basically getting the justice that I deserve.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Google stepsisters, go to IMDb.
Did they use your same principal actor?
Actually, two or three of the actors that we had had some negotiations with got cast.
Yes.
Yes. So, but the film.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. If you go to IMDb, I'm sure it's on there right now. If you you Google it, yeah, it's there. It's there. So
I'm sure I'm going to do so when I get off this. What? Because
Yeah.
I said, well, maybe they went with somebody else. So I was like, oh, well, maybe they just didn't do it.
all systems were go. We were ready to rock and roll. We were ready to rock and roll, and next thing you know, and like I said, and one of the things that kind of happened was I went to visit. I'm not going to name some names, but I think you know who I'm talking about. I went to see this actress over at VH1. They were shooting a film over at VH1. So we had a meeting over there, and we had this meeting, and some other people were in the meeting, and we were discussing some vital details about our project, and just lo and behold, that the people that are on the Stepsisters project are people that were in that meeting, and I'll leave it at that.
Are you? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Wow, that's low down. So you have to wait now to see if it comes out, but you don't think it's coming out?
Apparently, it was scheduled to be released last March. In the story that I read, the last thing I saw, the last press release I saw on it was last March, and apparently they must have lost their distribution because I haven't seen hide nor hair of it on Netflix or anything. It was scheduled for a theatrical release, so I know the film is in the can, but I think they're just waiting to find somebody to put it out. And
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. That's bold to keep your title. That's really bold.
And that's what really made me mad. I'm saying, if you're going to take it on, I get that part of it. If you're going to take it, I get it. But don't take my title, too. Because I had to actually rewrite my script, change the concept, and change the title.
Wow.
Yeah. Had to go out and find another deal. Okay, found another deal for my new project that I put all this time and money and effort into to finally get it to a point where we're ready to go to work on it, and basically back to square one. Had to and I rewrote Stepsisters 26 times, 26 times. So that really made me mad. Really made me mad.
Yeah, that's a lot. And you would think that because you did, I mean, like I had a script, no Bailey fit. Because we have scripts. You know what I mean? There's scripts out there that you sent out to us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't understand. I guess I don't understand. And that's the part I'm talking about where, I don't understand the legalities of how they can even get away with that when you had it copywritten.
I mean, if you change enough of it, like I said, without getting into too many details, you know the story, you know the plot and everything. But they switched out some main characters, changed the venue. They changed it up enough to where they can say this is an original idea, but I know better.
Gotcha.
And plus, when you keep the title, come on, that's like basically thumbing your nose at me, saying we dare you to try to do something about it.
Absolutely, it is.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but if I ever run into that,
Slow down.
I haven't seen that guy since then. But if I run into that guy, he and I, and this is someone who he's a director. He's done some major films, so you'll know who I'm talking about. But if
I do know who you're talking about. I remember who was signed on. I remember who was supposed to do it.
yeah, so I'm gonna have to go see him.
Yeah, that's really scary.
Yeah, but anyways,
Wow. Wow.
as you well know, those cautionary tales are not new to the business.
Mm,
You've heard them a million
right.
times. So some things you got to just charge it to the game and keep it moving because if you get if you take it to heart and get too upset about it, it'll eat you alive. So
That's right.
so
That's right. And you know what? Karma's a bee, so
oh yeah.
and that's why it's not out now. So you know,
Exactly.
and there you have it.
Exactly. Exactly. Well,
Yeah. Wow, but I'm sorry that happened. See,
nah,
I didn't know what had happened. I was like, huh?
it's all good. It's all good. This show I just worked on. Make sure you check it out. I'll hit you up. Make sure you check out the episode. Yeah.
Yeah, send me the link.
Yeah. And if it sucks, then don't blame it on me because I didn't do the rewrite. So.
I won't blame it on you. I know the politics. I'll just be happy to see your name on the credit if you got the check.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
I will definitely not, but definitely let me know what it is so I can talk about it, post and tell the people to check it out.
I certainly will. Well, Tanya, I really
Yeah.
appreciate you taking the time out to speak with us today and to get with me. This has been very enlightening. Learned a lot from you, and it's good. It's great to see that you have such a positive attitude about everything. And obviously, like I said before, having been in the business as long as you have, you're gonna see the ups and downs, the good and bad, the highs and lows, and you're still getting work. So that's the important thing. So what's next for you? What can people expect to see you doing in the years to come?
Oh God, I don't know. We're getting ready to. The industry comes back next week. I think everybody comes back to work next Wednesday or something like that. But just the new team, and so we're rebranding and we are revamping a lot of stuff with me theatrically. So hopefully I don't have anything lined up where I can say, hey, this is specific, definitely happening. I do have a Humira commercial that's running right now. I have a Northrop Grumman commercial that's running right now. And I'm the new face of the Pechanga Casino Resort, which is resort here in California, but it has gone from a 3-star property to a 5-diamond property. And so
Okay.
so they did it like an 18,000 square foot renovation, and they're launching the new property. I believe in January or February of 2018. But I'm the new face of the print ad, so I'm the sister with the curly hair. I'll be on the buses. I'll be on the billboards representing Pechanga. So that's a blessing. I shot those print ads. We did that job 2 years ago, and the brother that's on that's my husband in the ad, Will Catlett. He actually is a series regular in Mara Akil's new show that's coming out. And he's also in what's it called, it's coming out on Cartoon Network. On the CW channel, Black Panther. No.
Black
Anyway,
I'm not sure.
Will Catlett is his name, but he's killing again. He's in Atlanta, right? Getting ready to go back to Atlanta to film some more stuff. But he's out of LA, so it was a blessing for the two of us to get to work together. And I'm excited about that campaign. So I am the new face, one of the new faces. There's several couples, and we are the black couple. So we will be representing the new renovated resort, Pechanga Casino. So that's a blessing, and I'm grateful to have these commercials running. And then it's just get back on the grind and start over for the new year, and hopefully land some series regulars and keep it pushing.
That's awesome.
But I don't. and that's really it. That's it. And then also I'm hoping to put out. I want to put out another EP, Latonya Holmes music. So, and it may be of songs that I've already recorded that no one has heard before. I'm going through my vault now, listening to music that people are like, I can't believe we didn't put this out. So, just deciding in terms of my music, if I'm going to go that route, if I'm going to drop another single this year, just to keep my music flowing and my passion flowing with my music stuff. So, just revamping once again, So.
Well, that is so awesome. I'm so excited for you. Keep it going. Let's make sure we reconnect real soon to do another show, do a follow up, and I really look forward to seeing your work. And let's definitely keep in touch. Home girl from the hood back in the day. So
Yes, right. We heard brothers and sisters and high school mates, classmates. And I also wanted to just say praises, rest in heaven, Sean Hill, and thank you, Alonzo, for keeping Hill Street Views going in Sean's name. I did, Miss Hill did reach out to me and send me his obituary and everything, and I told her that you had reached out to do an interview and that I just had been crazy or whatever. So I thank you for keeping Sean's vision alive. That's true friendship, and I couldn't think of a better person to take it over than you. It's been a pleasure to actually talk to you. It's been enlightening for me, and I definitely let's stay in touch. And please don't hesitate to call me, text me, whatever if you have some questions or just some funny stories to share, because a sister can always use a laugh, and you are hilarious.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm glad you brought up Sean. I was going to mention Sean as well. Definitely, this is for Hill Street Views, and I'm definitely going to do everything I can to keep his legacy and his memory alive. He was a really good friend of mine, and I do miss him. And I don't know if you know this or not. Actually, he and I had done a podcast about a week before he passed, and yeah, and we had made plans to do a weekly podcast together. So, and I was really excited about it. So it really, yeah. So that motivates me to keep doing this, and like I said, and just to kind of keep his memory alive, because he was good. And I said this in my I did a tribute to him. He was a good dude. I keep saying he was a good dude. He was a really good dude, and I appreciate you saying that. And everybody out there listening, everybody pray for Sean and his family, and he's definitely in my thoughts and prayers at all times. So with that being said, I thank you, and I will talk to you again real soon. Okay?
Okay. Thank you so much, Alonzo.
You're welcome. You take care,
and
Latonya.
Congratulations to you on all that you have going on. Keep writing, brother, and keep keeping your integrity and your dignity is first.
Thank you so much. I'll talk to you next time.
Okay.
All righty.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.